Hi, I'm Yube and welcome back to Scape Smart. In the last episode, we talked about valuing our time properly to make sure we're using it well. But in this episode, we'll be talking about variance, dry streaks, and how to get past that sinking feeling after yet another flax drop from Zulrah. So, while opportunity cost is about efficiency, what I'm going to discuss here is just a way of keeping yourself positive when it seems like you're not getting anywhere. Iron Men in particular might benefit from this, but it's applicable to anyone who makes their money from monster kills or any form of random chance. I'm going to talk about tilting, and talk about how we can take a step back and look at the situation rationally when we feel a tilt coming on. If you're not familiar with the term, by the way, tilting is just a word for when things aren't going your way in a game and you start getting disheartened, you start feeling like the whole endeavour is hopeless, and you stop enjoying the process. It can make you play worse, and it will certainly stop you wanting to play at all. So, I'm currently deep in the Barrows grind on my Iron Man, and pretty much every day I see someone looting the chest saying, "Runes, sad face," and teleporting away, and that one line tells me everything I need to know about their mindset right now. They're tilting. I mean, obviously, right? No shit. Barrows is the tilt factory. Everyone there either got a double chest on the last run, or they're tilting. Except, a couple of months ago, I won 82 chests without getting any items at all, and I barely noticed. When the game decides to throw stuff like that my way, I take a short break, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and when I come back I find it's a lot easier to put things into perspective by just reminding myself of the nature of variance. Variance and probability, it's one of those weird subjects to talk about. Some people intuitively understand it, and they'll probably think everything that I'm about to say is just common sense, but a lot of people disagree. Old school RuneScape is built on variance. Most actions in the game have some element of random chance, even if we don't always think of it that way. With things like skilling, mining, fishing, firemaking, the variance is very short term. It can take you 1 second or 30 seconds to mine a mithril rock, but it's not going to take you all week. And if you're doing a lot of mining, if you're mining say 10,000 rocks, the effect of that variance over time is likely to be negligible. After all, the chance of it taking significantly longer than average to mine each of 10,000 rocks, it's so low that it's not even worth considering. Let's say the average time to mine a mithril rock is 10 seconds. Some rocks will be very quick, some will be very slow, but overall it's going to take roughly the same amount of time as it would take anyone else with the same mining level. This is because your sample size is quite large, you're mining 10,000 rocks, not 5 rocks. If you were only mining a few rocks, you would expect that it might take much longer than the 10-second average per rock, or it might not take as long. We've probably all experienced this when using skill boosts for quests or clue scrolls, the feeling of "oh, hurry up!" as we watch our character futilely swinging an axe. When we're killing abyssal demons to try to get a whip, the same principles apply, but on a much longer timescale. While it only took an average of 10 seconds to mine that mithril rock, it takes an average of a few hours to get a whip drop. With the variance we talked about before, it can take days to get one, or you can get a whip on the very first kill. Or you can go all day today without getting one, and then get 2 whips back to back as soon as you log in tomorrow. There's no bad luck protection. Not getting a whip today doesn't make you more likely to get one tomorrow. It's just variance, it's random chance. It's exactly the same mechanism as we experienced when we were mining those mithril rocks. Every swing of the pick, or every abyssal demon kill, has a chance to reward us. And the more rocks we mine, the more demons we kill, the less of an effect that variance will tend to have. In short, as counterintuitive as it may seem, it is inevitable that if we kill enough demons, we will get a whip every 512 kills. Sometimes those whips will be clustered together, you can get 3 in 6 kills and that's fine. Sometimes you'll go 1,000 kills or 2,000 or even more without getting any whips at all. But it is a statistical certainty that over a long enough period of time, you'll end up with 1 whip for every 512 demons you kill. You're just swinging a pick, and you'll get the ore eventually. So here we've looked at variance and its tendency to trend out over time, but let's go back to our Barrows example and look at some numbers to put it into perspective. When you loot the chest and get just runes for the 20th time in a row, it can feel like you're really unlucky. But there's an easy way of working out just how unlucky, or in other words, how unlikely your dry streak actually is. There are going to be some numbers here, but nothing too complicated. The chance of getting a Barrows item from any given chest is 1 over 16, assuming you kill all 6 brothers. But how do we work out the chance of getting an item in the space of, say, 5 runs? Well, common sense says it's 1 over 16 multiplied by 5. The chance of getting an item in 1 run multiplied by the number of runs you're doing, but that's not the case. If it were, then you'd be guaranteed an item at least once every 16 runs. 1 over 16 multiplied by 16 is 1. Or 100%. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Instead, a little counterintuitively, we have to work with the inverse. We have to work out the chances of not getting any items within the space of those 5 runs. So if the chance of getting at least one Barrows item is 1 in 16, the chance of that not happening, getting no items, is 15 in 16. Obviously, those two chances have to add up to 1, because exactly one of those two options will happen. We'll get an item, or we won't. Pretty simple so far, right? So let's look at the chances of getting any Barrows item within 2 runs. Well, we start by working out the chance of going 2 runs dry, getting no items in 2 runs. So we're doing 2 Barrows runs, and we need a 15 in 16 chance to come true on both of them. That means we can just multiply the two 15 over 16 chances together. So 15 over 16 multiplied by 15 over 16, that works out to around 88%. So we have roughly an 88% chance of getting no items in the 2 runs, and 100% minus 88% leaves us with a 12% chance of getting at least one item. As we predicted earlier, that works out to less than 2 in 16, but not by very much. This gives us all the information we need to work out how likely we are to go dry for any number of runs. We simply take the chance of going dry for 1 run, 15 over 16, and raise it to the power of the number of runs we're doing. In our 2 run example, we multiplied 15 over 16 by 15 over 16. That's 15 over 16 to the power of 2. For 5 runs, it's 15 over 16 to the power of 5. That works out to 72%, which gives us roughly a 28% chance of getting an item in those 5 runs. Many Barrows veterans still start to feel the burn around run 20 of not getting anything. But what are the chances of going 20 runs dry? Well, it turns out that you have a better than 1 in 4 chance of not getting anything in any given 20 runs. Unlucky, sure, but nothing worth tilting over, and it's certain to happen if you do enough runs. I mentioned at the start of this video that I recently went 82 consecutive runs dry. Well, that was fairly unlucky, but not absurdly so. The chance of that happening is roughly 0.5%. And with the several thousand Barrows runs I've done over the course of the last decade and 3 accounts, it was bound to happen sooner or later. How many things happen to you every day that are as unlikely as that? Running into a friend at the supermarket maybe, you just both happen to be there in the same queue at the same time. Hitting a natural double max DDS spec, that's around 1 in 500 for most players, or 0.2%. Ronan posting a coherent game update, that has yet to happen. These are all things we shrug and take for granted, but they're all unlikely. The thing is, there are so many unlikely things that can happen. At least a few of them are going to. For some people, that's a 100 chest dry streak or a 3000 abyssal demon dry streak. For others, it might be a double item chest or 2 whips in 5 minutes. And the bottom line is, the more you play, the more all of those things will happen. Personally, I find that looking at the numbers helps me stay grounded when I'm feeling annoyed about bad luck. And that's something that happens to all of us. We all have strings of bad luck and we all let it get to us occasionally. But what matters really is how you approach it and how much you enjoy coming back to the grind. Often you find you really haven't been all that unlucky and, well, if you still want to feel sorry for yourself, at least you know how much wallowing you're really entitled to. Thank you so much for watching episode 2. I'm Yube, and I'll see you next time when I'll be going over a few smaller tips for new players and veterans alike. See you then.